Hi guys! It's been a while since I posted and I apologize. I kind of have some notes that I'm going to go off of for what I want to cover in this video. Just because I tend to get kind of like off topic and squirrely, especially like with pregnancy. And so I'm hoping that my notes will help me stay on topic and talk about the things that I want to talk about in this video. So again, I apologize that it's been a while. I plan to get back into regularly posting content. I am currently just out of my first trimester. We are 13 and a half weeks. We'll be 14 weeks in like 2 or 3 days. So that's exciting, and I'm just starting to feel a little bit better, and maybe it's because like the sun is shining more. We live in Iowa, so it's been a dreary winter. If you've heard of those like winter blues, that is real, especially in your first trimester of pregnancy, landing during those winter blues. Pregnancy for me has been interesting. A lot of learning and a lot of navigating and figuring out how to move on with life and get by day to day. But anyways, I plan on doing like my next video most likely will be like a recap of the first trimester. I am counting. I ended my first trimester when I hit 12 weeks. I was like, first trimester over. Because I was like in the mindset of like, oh, second trimester, I will feel a lot better. So if I just say that the end of 12 weeks or when I hit 12 weeks is the end of my first trimester, then I'll start feeling better. That was not the case. So now I'm like, okay, maybe the end of my first trimester will be 14 weeks. So that will be in a few days. And I feel like the sun is starting to shine more and it's really helping lift my mood a little bit, and so hoping that I'm like on my way back up. But not to scare anybody, but it's all fun, right? We get a baby at the end of this. But yeah, so I plan to share like a recap of my first trimester in the next video, but for this video I wanted to do a quick infertility journey like recap. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers in the past few days, weeks, and I'm so thankful for that. Hello everybody, welcome. But I also got some comments on like, oh, fill us in on like the Clomid and the Letrozole cycle that you did together. And that is actually how we got pregnant. So I thought I would just give a little bit more insight into that. And I had actually never heard of that either. There was a lot of this process that you never have heard of until you get into it. But anyways, basically our fertility clinic suggested, I believe it was like a clinical trial, but we weren't part of the clinical trial because we paid for it. But I do believe that they were running a clinical trial too. I just should have been more of an advocate for myself, whatever. Like women with PCOS doing the Clomid and Letrozole together. So let me back up. And I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. We tried Clomid for several months at various different like dosages. We tried it, I believe we tried it at 25 milligrams. I can't really remember. But I know we gave it a few months on 50 milligrams and then we gave it a few months on 100 milligrams. Clomid made me feel like crap. And I didn't really see that in research anywhere, but Clomid did not make me feel good. First of all, I was like so irritable. Like Garrett and I would get in fights that I would start for no reason. Like I was just being irrational in every single aspect of my life. In every conversation, it was just, I was very, very, very moody. And then also, like, this didn't happen every month I was on Clomid, but I would get these bouts of, like, projectile vomiting happen, like, for, twice, like, 2 different months. And then, like, this is TMI, I'm so sorry, but, like, also, like, really bad like diarrhea. That's like the painful kind that you know it's coming and it just hurts and you're just like almost like screaming. There was a month where I was like in the bathtub doing both at the same time, if you know what I mean. Rough. When your husband sees that, he's truly seen you at your worst. But and I didn't chalk it up. I just thought I was eating something weird or whatever. Like, I didn't chalk it up to really being Clomid until I started taking Letrozole and switched to Letrozole. And then I was like, oh, maybe like it was the Clomid that made me like not feel good. I'm not really sure. But then we tried Letrozole alone for a few months too. We tried that on 2.5 milligrams. Then did a few months on 5 milligrams of Letrozole, then did a few months of the 7.5 milligrams of Letrozole. And all of those times that I just listed, with whether doing the different dosages of Clomid alone or the different dosages of Letrozole alone, it resulted in super low progesterone levels and like no super positive OPKs. OPK is ovulation predictor kits. So when you hear that term elsewhere, that's what OPK is. And I know it's hard. It's hard. Some people will be like, you can't have a super positive. It's either positive or negative for your ovulation predictor kits. But if you know what I mean. So we never got like a really super positive OPK, super low progesterone. And I also never had like follicle monitoring during any of those. So it's like we could have done that. That was an additional cost, I think. I mean, it would get billed to our insurance, but it was just an additional cost and an additional appointment and all of that stuff. And so if we would have done the follicular monitoring, I'm sure we would have been able to tell like sooner, like, hey, Clomid at this dosage isn't making you ovulate at all, or your follicles are growing but not necessarily releasing, or all of the different variations of what it could be. But we did not do that. Then I was just kind of getting really defeated because it's like months and months go by of like you don't even think that you're ovulating and you can't get pregnant unless you ovulate. And so like there's so much that has to go right. And ovulating is one major part of it. So that was just super defeating. So we were actually talking about, we did attempt some IUIs on like the Letrozole alone because I was starting to get higher progesterone levels, which means that you likely ovulated. Which I kind of explained that in another video, one of my previous videos, but I can link that down below. But yeah, so anyways, pregnancy brain, where was I going with that? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Notes, Kaya, you have notes. So, oh yeah. I was saying, we gave it a few rounds of the IUI, 2 rounds, and then we went on vacation, and we were going to continue doing a few more IUIs, but we were starting to explore the idea of IVF, and just what that would look like for our family, financially, and like timing wise and everything. And then like our beliefs and all of that, just starting those conversations. But knowing that we wanted to give the IUIs a few more good attempts before we just resorted to IVF. That was what we decided to do. But then actually our fertility doctor was like, why don't we try to do we could try to do Clomid and Letrozole together. And my husband was like, he was like, I really don't think that you should be on Clomid when we go on vacation. And I was like, that's the perfect time, because then I'm not going to be like a biatch at work, I will be on the beach. What a perfect place to be feeling super irritable and moody and, you know, be drinking like tequila and margaritas and such, right? Yeah. And I also have a video on that. I think yeah. So anyways, when we went to Mexico on vacation, that was actually the cycle that we attempted the 50 milligrams of Clomid with the 7.5 milligrams of letrozole, excuse me. And the Clomid did to me just what it always does. I was very, very irritable. Garrett and I were like literally fighting over the stupidest things the entire vacation. And, but that's literally the cycle that we ended up getting pregnant on. So, yeah, I mean, it worked. It worked for us. And actually, you know, I went through my like positive pregnancy test and got that. And then we went to the doctor, and I was actually having like some really bad low back pain on our way home from Mexico. And I just thought I had drinking like the water or something, or like when we were in the ocean, the water got in my mouth, or like when I was brushing my teeth, I was brushing with sink water and not like clean water, you know. So I thought, oh, that's what I have, like traveler's diarrhea. But now in hindsight, looking back, we found out we were pregnant, and then we decided to go in, and our doctor was like, hey, just since you're having back pain, it's your first pregnancy, maybe we should check and just make sure that, you know, baby's growing in the right spot, and it's not, you know, it's not an ectopic pregnancy, basically, because I was having a lot of back pain, which is not necessarily a symptom of an ectopic pregnancy. It's normally in the front, from what my doctor said, and what I've seen doing research and such. So we did an ultrasound. Baby was in the right place, thank goodness. Praise be to God for that. Thank you, Jesus. But we found out, or we realized, why I was having so much back pain coming home from Mexico, and the following like days to like 2 or 3 weeks after conception was because I had ovulated 5 eggs. I had ovulated 3 eggs on one ovary and 2 eggs from the other ovary. So my ovaries were just like on fleek, and they were just like really, really mad. I don't know, but I could feel it. They felt mad. So yeah, but then after like 2 or 3 weeks, my back pain went away, because then they start to shrink back down, and yeah, because your placenta kicks in, all that stuff. So yeah, that I would say it was a super successful cycle for us to try the Clomid and the Letrozole. So if it didn't work that cycle, I don't know, we hadn't really talked about if we were gonna, you know, try the Clomid and Letrozole again. I definitely would have had to give myself a break, just from being super irritable and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know what we would have decided to do. I know for sure we would have given it a few more IUI attempts. But now looking back in hindsight, like, this was super awesome for us. I mean, it just took us one time on that regimen, and, you know, everything else just happened to go right too, because there's a lot that has to go right. But yeah, it just, looking back, it's just like, okay, so when we go, you know, hopefully we don't have as much trouble getting pregnant with our next baby. But you know, we know that we have this in our back pocket, and we were able to do it successfully, like just the two of us, without any like intervention as far as like an IUI or IVF. We did have medication intervention, but hopefully, you know, we will. I anticipate when we're ready to try for our second, which I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but just knowing that this worked for our first, I anticipate that when we're ready to try for our second, that we will try the same thing, and try the Clomid and the Letrozole and just see where that gets us. So yeah, that is all that. Let me refer back to my notes, see if I missed anything. I literally wanted this to be a short video, but I just like go on, and I'm so sorry, but that's me. So yeah, this is what worked for us this time. That's not to say that it's not going to work for us next time, and next time, you know, we'll have to explore something else. Maybe next time it will be easier. Maybe, you know, we'll get pregnant without even trying. I don't know. But that also doesn't mean that because this worked for us, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. But I hope this gives you like knowledge and comfort and courage to explore other avenues of trying to conceive. Because I know for me, videos like this helped, or just learning like what other couples did or what interventions other couples, you know, tried that resulted in successful conception. So yeah, thank you so much for your supportive comments. I love reading your guys' comments. And thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. And I just hope that, you know, me sharing our journey and, you know, our infertility journey, and now kind of transitioning into like my pregnancy journey and most likely probably like motherhood journey. I just hope that this kind of gives you guys hope for those of you who are trying to conceive. These videos helped me so much when we were trying to conceive and it was such a struggle and you just feel so alone. But watching these videos really helped a lot. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.